The English have made many contributions to the world, two of which are the English language and the game of cricket. Over recent years, the game has evolved into a number of different forms, from the 5-day test match to the 1-day match and the 20 bash, or the 2020 bash, I think they call it nowadays. It's all strange to me anyway. But for this particular explanation of the game, I shall be using the example of that quintessentially English form of the game, the village cricket match. The game is played on a field set in bucolic English countryside with age-old oaks, wheat fields, cow pastures and hawthorn hedges. In the middle of this field lies a carefully maintained area of grass called the square. Within the square lies a rectangle of even closer mown grass, mown almost to within a millimetre of its life. This rectangle is known as either the pitch or the wicket. You will learn that the wicket carries many different meanings throughout this video. This area of grass is carefully maintained and tended by enthusiastic members of the local cricket club throughout the year, using various items of machinery, very few of which is less than 50 years old. There's a variety of lawnmowers, tractors, rollers, both heavy and light of varying ages, and a rather strange machine which lays a chalk line not only around the edge of the field, but also laying straight lines on the pitch or wicket known as creases, which come in the form of popping, bowling and return creases, but they are the subject of another video. The pitch, or wicket, is 22 yards long, which in times gone by used to be called a chain. 10 chains make a furlong, a distance which is still used in horse racing circles today, and 8 furlongs make a mile. But frankly, it's so much easier to remember 22 yards rather than, hold on, I've got to get this right, 20.1168 meters. But I digress, for which I apologize. Somewhere in the corner of this field lies a shed, varying in design from the fundamental and practical to the really quite ornate. This shed is called the pavilion. It is where the players change, relax, take cups of tea, where the scorers keep detailed records of the game in hand, and the spectators exchange local gossip. The game is played by 2 teams of 11 players, known quite reasonably as 11s. These should not be confused with the other British custom known as 11s. This is where workmen down tools for a large mug of tea, thus preventing any profitable work being done during the next hour. But I digress again. Although there are 11s, there is also a 12th man, whose duty really is to keep the players plied with drinks. There is also a 3rd man, but I'll come to him later. Before the game can start, the 2 captains walk slowly out onto the pitch, which they examine in great detail, almost as though it was a scene of crime, before tossing a coin to decide which team will be in and which team will go out. The team that is going in is known as the batting side, and that which goes out as the fielding side. The game begins when the fielding side walk out onto the pitch, accompanied by 2 often rather elderly gentlemen dressed in white coats like this. Their job really is to maintain order and interpret the rules of the game. These men are the unsung heroes of the game who frankly deserve a video all to themselves, which I may come to in the next few weeks. The first two members of the batting side start to strap on various items of defensive gear in the form of protective gloves, well-padded leg guards, a helmet, and a codpiece. These are the opening batters, who used to be called batsmen, but today's gender equality has made them change their name. Having played a few opening shots, these openers of the side that is in go out to be in until they are out by being run out, bowled, stumped, or caught, or even judged to have a leg before wicket, known as the abbreviation LBW. It should be noted that while batters can be run out, they are not bowled out, stumped out, or caught out, except possibly in their private lives, but that's got nothing to do with cricket.
I think I should mention the fact that village cricket is played at a very leisurely pace. The only time when people get excited is when a wicket falls, when even the English get quite animated.
This goes on until 10 members of the batting side that was in are out and the innings is declared closed. At the end of an innings, everybody comes in for another cup of tea, and the fielding side that was out is now the side that is in, and therefore becomes the batting side, and the batting side becomes the fielding side. You with me so far? Good. Please note that the word innings is singular, and there are no outings in cricket. Well, not in polite company anyway. So what is the object of the game? Well, this could lead us into some very deep philosophical waters, so I will try and keep it as simple as possible. The object of the game is for one side to score more runs than the other side. It's as simple as that. Runs are scored by batsmen dashing from one end of the pitch to another, although, to be honest, this is more likely to be a steady amble from one end to the other. However, all this exercise is not necessary to score runs, which can be scored without the batsman moving an inch. These runs come in the form of boundaries and extras. Boundaries are scored by hitting the ball over the boundary of the field, which is marked by a rope, a white chalk line, or a hawthorn hedge. If it hits the ground before reaching the boundary, but still crosses it, it scores 4 runs, and the batsman don't have to move at all. If, however, the ball is thumped very high into the air, and it goes over the boundary line on the full, that scores 6 runs, again, without the batsman having to move an inch. In the event of a 6 boundary, the umpires hold their hands up as if in surrender to inform the scorers of their decision. Umpires have many such signs and signals to convey their decisions to the scorers back in the pavilion, but again, that's the subject for another video. The other way of accumulating runs is by the use of extras. These come in the form of byes, leg byes, wides, and no balls. Any explanation of which would take far too long, and you wouldn't believe me anyway. So let us get back to the game in hand, and in particular the batters. As I said, their role is to score as many runs as possible using a variety of strokes with the wooden stick that they hold as a bat. Classic strokes include the cover drive, the extra cover drive, the off drive, the on drive, together with hooks sweeps, dances and cuts, which may be late or square. Strokes more commonly found in village cricket include the hoik over cow corner and smashes right over the bowler's head, together with accidental runs from the inside and outside edges of the bat. But enough of batters and runs, we now come to the bowlers. These bowlers try to get wickets by getting the batters out. As there were opening batters, there are also opening bowlers. Incidentally, while batters used to be called batsmen, bowlers were never called bowlsmen. Just a thought. The opening bowlers deliver the ball at speeds of up to 80 miles an hour in the direction of the batter at the other end of the pitch, not with any intention of doing him harm, although it sometimes does. But the idea is to knock one or all of the stumps forming the wicket behind him. There you are, there's another wicket. Stumps, we haven't mentioned those yet. No, these are 3 round pieces of wood known as the off stump, middle stump and leg stump. They have pointed ends which are driven into the ground, and 2 smaller bits of wood called the bales are placed on top of them to form, you'd never guess it, yes, the wicket. If a bowler hits the stumps dislodging a bale, then the batsman is out, and therefore he has to go back in while the next batsman comes out to replace him being in. Fast bowlers make deliveries like in-swingers, out-swingers, reverse swingers, bouncers and yorkers. They may even deliver a technically termed slower ball to deceive the batsman. But this is very technical. These opening fast bowlers tire after a while, and they are replaced by the slower bowlers known as medium pacers, seamers, trundlers, tweakers and spinners. Spinners are the slowest bowlers, they relying upon guile rather than speed to deceive the batsman. They deliver off spin, leg spin, top spin, back spin, lifters, googlies and Chinamen. Each bowler bowls 6 consecutive balls called an over. By the way, there are no unders in cricket, unless of course they have bowled a no ball or a wide, which don't count, and they've got to do it all over again. At the end of the over, everybody changes around to different fielding positions. Another bowler starts bowling from the other end of the pitch. But what about the fielders, I hear you cry? Well, those of you who are still awake, apart from the bowler, there is the wicket keeper who stands behind the wicket, wearing similar protective gear to the batters, but the gloves are very much larger and the pads are rather smaller. This leaves 9 other players to be deployed around the field by the captain in consultation with the bowler. In my research for this video, I found a diagram which actually described 37 different fielding positions on the field of cricket. This means that with only 9 players, there will be a number of gaps through which the batters will try and place the ball to score their runs. Beside the wicketkeeper stand the close fielders, like the slips, of which there may be 3 or 4, a gully, a leg slip, a short leg, and behind these fielders lie the aforementioned third man and a long leg, which might be deep or fine. By the way, all this talk of legs has nothing to do with the lower limbs of the players, but due to the fact that the field is divided into 2 halves, the offside and the onside, or the leg side. I do hope you're keeping up. Fielding positions on the offside include backward point, point, cover point, extra cover, deep extra cover, mid off and long off. Comparable positions on the leg side would include long leg, fine leg, square leg, mid-wicket, mid-on and long-on. Finally, there are two other fielding positions that perhaps I should mention, known as silly mid-on and the silly mid-off. So named probably because only people quite out of their tiny minds would stand in front of a batter armed with a heavy stick who is prepared to hit a very solid ball very hard in their direction. But that is just one of the eccentricities of this game of ours. My congratulations to those of you who've managed to stay to the end of this video, which I hope has both informed and entertained you. Depending on the response to this video, there may be follow-up videos on the history and the laws of the game and those devoted servants, the umpires. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and I bid you all a very good night.